Alright guys, welcome back to a brand new video today. I've been seeing this everywhere on my Twitter timeline. I've seen streamers, I've seen my followers talking about it. Pretty much everyone is discussing the whole sidearms dilemma, whether or not they're overpowered. Is it the nature of the gun itself that makes it overpowered? Is there certain archetypes in particular that are the only good ones? And just that general sort of thing. So I want to discuss sidearms as a whole, how they play out in regular PvP, how they play out in trials, and whether or not overall I think they're overpowered. So there's a lot of room for controversy, and I know that a lot of people do think they're overpowered and that they need to be nerfed and that there's no skill gap or whatever. Personally, I don't think they're really overpowered. This might be because I never play trials really, and I haven't really been a big fan of trials overall, so that might kind of skew my perception of things. So overall, in general PvP, are they overpowered? I would say not. The only reason people are really bringing this up now is because with the latest update, I don't know if all of you still play Destiny and you're up to date with everything, but essentially they made it so that when you die you lose all of your special ammo, but for something like a sidearm you actually don't lose your ammo. So that's been the main appeal ever since this patch. Sidearms weren't buffed directly at all. They don't do any more damage than they used to. They don't have higher range or stability or anything. It's just the fact that you can pretty much always have ammo for them. And the sidearms, like I said, have never really been good by nature. They're kind of forced into this position where they're more viable just because you can always have ammo for them. Sidearms have been existing for a year and a half. They've never been a weapon that people have really consistently used, and I think that's mainly because when people look at a special weapon, they want a weapon that can one-shot kill, that can make some cool highlights, some cool plays with. And generally the masses of people, snipers and shotguns, sometimes fusion rifles. I know fusions are pretty rare, but for the most part shotguns and snipers are what appeal to people. So sidearms were kind of in this weird spot where it acts like a primary weapon, where it's like the pseudo last word hand cannon sort of thing that doesn't one-shot kill. It's just like it's in a weird spot, I think. And now that people are using them, I think it's great. I bought the Wormwood, I've been using it, I've been having a great time with it. I just don't really get how they could necessarily be overpowered. They're quite easy to play around, and I don't really think they're that much worse than shotguns were. I think that having a special weapon that is strong is a good thing, and that if the main complaint is that you don't have special ammo all the time, because this was one of my complaints, and I know is a main complaint of a lot of people, is that you don't have your special ammo the whole game. And if people are complaining about this, then unless sidearms are this completely horrible thing to use, which honestly I mean I don't know if they are in trials, if it completely ruins trials, but for general PvP I really don't think they're a problem at all. In trials, the main issue is that it's turned into the same situation that we had many months ago, where everyone was switching in between rounds and they're using icebreaker and sidearms to get ammo, and then they would switch, and it's a really weird situation. And even though I'm not a trials player, I've heard it from fellow trials streamers, fellow trials players, that was one of their least favorite time periods for playing trials, and that whole sort of scenario has kind of come back with this latest update. People are playing with snipers and shotguns for the first round, and then they all switch to sidearms for the second round. And I don't know, I just think it's kind of a weird way to run things. And sidearms are a weapon where it's kind of like a primary, like I said, so you'll get into a gunfight at medium range, and it's not like a shotgun where you're like, oh no, I misinterpreted this play or the situation, going down or whatever, and I thought he was gonna stay behind, but he actually pushed up or whatever. For a sidearm, you can get into a situation where you think you're going into an equal-footed gunfight, hand cannon versus hand cannon, pulse versus pulse or whatever, because you're obviously engaging at a medium range, and then you go around and get melted by a sidearm. And I think that's what makes people the most upset. And I don't know, it's just a weird situation, and I think that Bungie needs to do something in order to make it so that sidearms aren't the only option in trials, because they're trying to push the first round you can have special at the very beginning, but the other rounds you don't spawn in with it. And if they're trying to push that, they need to make it so it applies to all weapons, or else it's not truly a primary meta, so to speak, for trials. I think a relatively easy fix would be to make it so that for every other special weapon you lose 50% of your ammo off of a death. So let's just just say if you have 4 shotgun bullets and you spawn up and you die, then you respawn with 2, and then if you die again after that next life without getting any more special ammo, then you start with 0 at the end or at the very beginning of your next life. So instead of it being a 100% loss of special ammo upon death, putting at 50% will encourage people to use stuff other than sidearms for trials as well as normal PvP. I don't think sidearms, like I said earlier, are a problem in normal PvP, but make it so that you only lose 50% of your special ammo in between rounds, so that the people who love using shotguns and snipers are still comfortable with their choices, while at the same time you keep 100% of your sidearm ammo, so that will promote a little bit more sidearm usage than normal, while at the same time not making it so it's like the only option out there. This is just my opinion, and if you disagree with me, then that's great. It's always good to have a discussion about these things. So if you have a different opinion, or if you agree, then discuss it in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what every single one of you has to say. I try to reply to as many comments as I can, but most of the time I'm at school, I at least see the comment notification come up on my phone. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Peace.